Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob at Super League Malibu. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, deboer wetsuits, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Quintana, Premium Plus Sports, and, of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest from South Africa, Mr. Henri Schoeman. How you doing, Henri?
Yeah, I'm very good. I love the California lifestyle here in Malibu.
It's pretty good, right?
Oh, so good.
Well, you know what? In all Southern California, we have a ton of South Africans who live here. My co-founder, Challenge Athletes Foundation, is from South Africa. I think the climate must be fairly similar.
Oh, yeah, it feels really similar. Like the sun, the beach vibes. It's a lot from where I'm from in Durban, South Africa.
Did you do this race last year?
No, I didn't do the race before, so it's my first time here.
It's not the first time to the States.
No, I've been to the States.
Okay.
It's first time in Malibu. Yeah.
But you're a surf guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Durban, South Africa. Like, basically, I was in the ocean every weekend.
Right.
Learning the surf, doing nippers lifesaving. So, yeah, I basically live in the ocean.
Well, and last year we saw it with Taylor Spivey that the race came down. Really, the surf played a huge role. And right now the water is about 64 Fahrenheit, and there's some good-sized surf. This could play well for you.
Yeah, I really hope for big waves. The bigger the better, you know.
Yes.
And I think it will create more drama. The better swimmers will do better,
yes.
I assume. But it's 300 meters, so I mean, anything can happen.
Well, and 300 meters, but you're going into the surf and out of the surf, so the surf will play a huge role.
Oh yeah, it will be good fun.
Very fun. And so this last couple of years has been tough on you, right? Did it start with the Olympics?
Yeah, it started with the Olympics. Best form of my life.
Right.
Going there to win a medal.
Right. Tokyo
Olympics,
yeah.
21. Can you believe it's more than 2 years ago?
Can't believe it.
So yeah, I get there. Stress reaction in the talus. 2 cortisone shots in my ankle joint.
Before the race. So you knew. Did you do it there, you think? Hard to say.
Yeah, so in the race, I couldn't finish the race. Obviously, it was just too painful.
Yes.
I had an MRI afterwards, and it was almost a full break through the talus after the race.
Yeah.
Fortunately, no like displacement, because that probably would have been end of my career.
Yes.
So fortunately, everything was still fine, but it was just now the second part of the whole saga was to have it heal and have it get better.
Right. But then was it a bike crash after that?
Yeah, so 6 months trying to heal the talus, nothing happened. Then I went into surgery. They put in 2 pins to compress a fracture, speed up the healing, and took another 6 months to get back to running. So that was a whole year out of running.
Oh, my God.
I get myself ready to race literally a week before the Super League series last year.
Yes.
My front tire blew out, I crashed, and I broke my elbow.
Oh. So that season's gone.
That season was gone. But I still came back. It was Abu Dhabi.
So that was early season.
World was in August.
Oh, that's right. Abu Dhabi's late for you.
Yeah, it was August. And then Abu Dhabi, the World Champs final last year. That was my first race back, and that was actually pretty good. And then I got back into it.
So, but in terms of 2023, you were 3rd at Toulouse and 7th in London, and then Arena Games, 2nd, 1st, 2nd. You like Arena Games?
Oh yeah, I love this kind of format, you know, where you mix it up, the short intensity. But for Arena Games, I use that to kind of just get back into racing, get used to the intensity again. So I've had a full long year of racing. Yeah, maybe not a lot of the races were exactly where I wanted to be. It was a year of hard racing to learn, because I guess 2 years out of the sport, you lose a little bit. You lose a touch of it, and other guys are improving. Right. And you have to kind of get back into that rhythm with them. So it was a year of hard racing to learn the game again. And just getting better and better and better, building up on the momentum. And finally, I'm feeling in a shape where I was 2 years ago before the Olympics.
Right. But then you're towards the end of the season.
Yeah. But I still got a lot of racing coming up.
You know what? There is a lot of, the great thing about our sport now, there's a lot between, Super League and World Tri. There's a lot of racing. Oh,
yeah, there is a lot. And, that for me, like, I really appreciate just being out there racing because, my career could have ended. I was very lucky. Like, the surgery that I had was a very high-risk surgery. Like, if there was just 1 millimeter or like one mistake,
Right.
I could, like, my talus could have cracked in half. It could have been game over.
Wow.
So the surgery was very high risk, and to actually be able to walk basically pain-free and to be able to run at a competitive level, it's a miracle.
So when the doctors tell you, listen, there's no blood flow down there, and the talus is not healing on its own, which is what you wanted, but here's the opportunity. The option is the surgery, but it could go south, and your career could be over.
Yeah.
Tough, but at the same time, it wasn't healing on its own, so it's not like you had a lot of options.
No, it was my only option.
Yes.
And, I mean, I was going to become a non-union and I'd never run again. There will always be problems.
Right.
But, I had consults with 3 different surgeons. One of them was in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So I made the best call on the best surgeon to do the proper job. And fortunately, it was a success.
It changes your attitude in terms of how you race and how you appreciate it. Because I think a lot of times you can look at it and go, it's one hotel room after another. I'm just trying to make enough to pay my mortgage. And then you realize when it's almost taken away, or it has been taken away, I love this. This is who I am and what I do.
Yeah, it really builds that fire a lot more than what it used to. The traveling is hard, and I used to take a little bit of granted, before this. But now, like, traveling all over the place, different time zones, different hotels, seeing my competitors again, like, it just brings so much appreciation to the sport, and it just makes me want to go harder and be better than I was yesterday.
I think what's cool about this sport, yes, they're your competitors, but at the same time, you can't affect the other guy's race, right? It's you against you when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So what type of support did you get from the other folks who you race against while you're going through this?
Yeah, I mean, they gave a lot of sympathy, and when you make a post, they give their comments, they give your support, they give you encouragement.
That's important.
Oh yeah, it's good, that's what I love about the triathlon. It's a small family.
It is.
And we all support each other. I now, like, support a lot of the other guys who are injured because I know exactly how they feel. And like Martin van Riel has been going through a lot through himself, and even with his ankle, he was out sidelined for a bit, and then I think he broke his scaphoid and his wrist recently. So I mean, I feel for the guy.
You've been there.
It's tough. I've been there.
And it's like when you're not part of that community and traveling around, you're at home. I mean, obviously you're a dad with 2 kids, you got plenty to do, but you still feel a little empty.
Yeah, I mean, being a father during this whole time has really been a blessing. It's been the silver lining that's kind of got me through.
Yes.
Keep the smile on my face, keep me happy, because you go through some dark times during that time.
Well, and I know that you use for motivation a buddy of ours named David Goggins.
Oh yeah.
Who he was on the cover of Competitor magazine back in like 07, 08, and he was weighing close to 300 pounds when he told me he wanted to do the Badwater 135 across Death Valley. I'm like, dude, he did it was a 24. He had to do a 24-hour race, like it was a 1-mile loop in San Diego. He had to do that to qualify to go to Badwater, and he didn't know anything about nutrition except he was a power lifter. So he had Myoplex and Ritz crackers for 19 hours to run 100 miles.
I mean, I've read his first book and I'm on his second book, and I can't tell you how much, like, he has inspired me. It just shows you, like, what the human body is capable of. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve it. And like, during these tough times, like, I still go through some downs, and just reading his book, it tells me that you can achieve it no matter what you do. You just put your mind to it. And his book has been so amazing. I'm on the second book halfway through, and it's just amazing to see, like, what he's done for your foundation as well, and just giving back to the sport, and just showing people that you can do so much.
The funny part was I had him on our radio show, and he likes talking in the third person. So he says he's going to do a triathlon. His first triathlon is going to be Ultraman, which is a 3-day triathlon around the Big Island. A 10K swim followed by a 90-mile bike, followed the next day 171-mile bike, and followed by a double marathon day 3, which he finished second in he broke the bike, so he was riding a bike with no cleats. Right? He's a crazy guy. But he invited us to Hell Week. The Navy SEAL Hell Week.
Really?
After I had him on the radio show. He says,
wow.
Meet me in this dark parking lot. And, I'm like, this guy could kill us, bury us, and nobody would ever find us. And we go down to watch Navy SEAL Hell Week, and it was like, oh, my God, this is crazy.
Reading his book, I feel like I want to try and try experiment with the whole week, but I don't know. I really want to see how I fare up. But I mean, that stuff is just like another level. But it's just crazy how he, his mentality and, you know, like how he ran on broken shins, like through all of this. And man, and I love the way that he likes to make the footprints first in the morning before anyone else.
Right.
And if he saw someone else's footprints, he would make sure that he does double in the evening. I love that mentality.
He was one of those guys who just changed everything in terms of endurance, because he decided he was going to just keep doing 100-mile races, and then all of a sudden he was having an issue breathing, and they realized he had a hole in his heart. Right, he had a hole in his heart. Yeah. And the doctor was like, at least it happened to somebody who doesn't have an active duty role. You're probably some guy who's at a desk. He goes, no, I'm a SEAL. He said, wait, you're jumping out of planes and you've got a hole in your heart? What is wrong with you?
It just shows you anything's possible. Like with a broken talus, like, I mean, it will heal up. Like 2 pins, it's holding it pretty good. Yes. It's no reason to slow down, you know, just keep going.
I love it. He's definitely motivated a lot of folks. And it's funny that I had a kid who was a baseball player, lost his leg in a tubing accident, got run over by a boat. Wow. And I had called the family to say, hey, we can help you out with the Child's Athletes Foundation, and I didn't hear back from them. Well, the dad, while he was driving back and forth to see his son every day, a couple hours a day, he was listening to books on tape. So he listened to the Goggins book when Goggins talked about me and CAF. And he comes home and says to his wife, I heard this name. It sounded familiar. And she goes, yeah, he's been texting us about Parker. And so anyways, because of Goggins' book, they connected us with Parker, and Parker now is back playing baseball again with a prosthetic leg.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, so Goggins has had a huge impact, and every time I have him on the show, he's just out of control because he's David Goggins.
I love the way he talks in his book. It's just honest, and I love that. It's just brutal honesty. There's no beating around the bush. It is what it is, and I just love that. It's a little bit like how my wife is. Yes. She's just honest to the point, and yeah, sometimes you need that. You know, it just no beating around the bush, like I said.
And he'll say, so David, you must get a runner's high when you're doing all this. No, I hate every step. I hate every step. I've never got any joy from this. I'm like, because we get joy, right? When we go out ride and run or swim, we get joy. Yeah. But actually, the other thing he did is one year at Ironman, he parachuted in, did the swim, and then did the bike and the run.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I could do that one day. Maybe I'll chat to him and be like, how can I do that?
Now, do you see yourself going longer distance after this next Olympics?
Yeah, I definitely want to give it a go, you know, start experimenting.
You'll be great.
I got a 70.3 later this year in Bahrain.
Which one?
Bahrain, 70.3. So, next year I definitely want to start getting onto the TT, get set up properly, maybe, you know, give it some good time of day, you know, prepare for it properly. And especially with the PTO series now happening, hopefully I can try and get in there. Oh, yeah. There's good money on the line.
It's great money. And the reality is you don't have to go do a full. You could do 70.3, PTO, and Super League. Yeah. And make yourself a nice living.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'd love that. And I love to, you know, be between Super League and PTO kind of distance, 70.3. I think it is achievable.
Totally.
And, to be in 3 different spaces, like that's really cool.
For the rest of this year and for getting to the Olympics, what's your path?
For the rest of the year, so I've got NEOM coming up. I've got Africa Champs to get a few more points for the Olympic ranking. Got heading down to Noosa.
Yes. Olympic non-draft.
Yeah, I love that. I raced it once before, and yeah, I mean it's such a good vibe. My brother's from Brisbane, so
perfect.
I'll stay with him for 2 weeks before, and then I'll head over to Chile for the last World Cup on the calendar with World Triathlon, get a few points, and then set up properly on the TT for Bahrain.
I love it. And then obviously the goal is Paris.
Oh yeah, so I should be qualified.
Okay, good.
It obviously also comes down to the federation to decide who they send, but I mean, there's no reason not to send me. There's no one else really in South Africa. Jamie Riddle's coming through, but I mean, that's about it. Right. And yeah, I mean, Paris, I'm going back for revenge. You know, I want to.
You want a medal?
I want a medal. I want another medal.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm going for. So this year was a lot about learning, but next year is about getting it. So
Love it. Henri, thank you for being so generous with your time. A pleasure to get to chat with you.
yeah, thanks, Bob. It's always amazing chatting to you.
And how old are your kids now?
I've got an 18-month-old daughter, Lilia, so she's just full of life. We were up at altitude recently.
Yes.
And yeah, coming back down to sea level, like she's just on another level.
How fun is that?
Oh, so good.
Good for you. Henri Schoeman has been our guest again. Everybody, again, Breakfast with Bob at Super League Malibu. Hold on. We will be right back.